Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I was so grooving to the music. I forgot to do the little mens rea intro, so let's just do that. Why? Because it's Friday and we got time. Let's go.
What do you got?
I think I can prove to a judge that both of these men had the mens rea.
What the hell is a mens rea?
It's a legal term the lawyers use. It just means the intention to commit a crime.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Mens rea?
Put the cuffs on him.
How could we have gotten mens rea? We take blood? Can you do it without taking blood? We both use condoms. How is this possible? I want to see a doctor. Can I have an independent blood test?
Money!
I feel sick.
What are you doing?
Mens rea! My God!
Everything that guy just said is bullshit. Thank you.
Hey, now we're back. We got that out of the way. Good. It wouldn't be a Maya stream without the mens rea and the my cousin Vinny clip. So how y'all doing? It is Friday night here in Korea, and I'm feeling good. It's been a hell of a good day, and I have a sneaky suspicion that my blood pressure is going to go up, and I'm going to be in a grumpy mood by the end of it. Well, it could be one of those like semi-grumpy, hysterical moods by the end. We'll just have to see how it goes. But I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're doing this with me because we got a lot of ground to cover. We've got 3 things we desperately need to get to. There was only 2 were only planned. There's only 2 things we had planned for today. One was the plaintiff's motion to compel and supplement a motion for sanctions, where the plaintiff, that was a weird gasp, where plaintiff is demanding, Maya Kowalski's side is demanding that the defense turn over the documents they were told to turn over during the trial, and more on their motion for sanctions. That was one thing we were going to cover. We were also going to cover the defendant's objections to the production of the boxes and the joint commission documents. Those were the 2 things we were supposed to talk about. But then, holy sweet baby Jesus in a manger and Judas Priest on a pony, we had a... Y'all thought that digging up juror number 1's 20-year ago history, so you had to throw out the verdict motion was some bullshit? Well, they doubled down just when you thought they would. Just when you really wanted the defense to go, okay, we crossed a line. It's time to back off and sort of regroup and try to save whatever public image J Hatch has. No, they doubled down on juror number 1. And this is why, I mean, monetization is going right out the window on this video. We're not going to get a freaking penny of dollar revenue on this just because of the words we have to use during this thing. So this isn't I don't normally grift. This isn't a normal grift stream, but if any of you want to throw any shekels into the coffers of super chats and whatever, it would be greatly appreciated tonight, because there's no way we're earning money on this, because the most recent defense motion to supplement the motion for a new trial based on jury misconduct involves how can I even do this? It involves what Winston Churchill, I get. Usually we can get around it if we use the Winston Churchill variety. It revolves around what Winston Churchill referred to as nonsense. Yeah. Nonsense. Like the bad guys led by the frustrated painter from Austria, those guys. That's what the supplemental motion for a new trial based on juror number 1's misconduct involves. Yahtzee is a good code word, but nonsense sounds so much better. Megan Fox, OMG, I love you, Jeff. I would invite Megan on, but frankly, I've got to go to sleep at some point. We got a lot to get through here. I saw how long it took Megan to go through these first 2 motions on her own stream with 0 distractions. So, but no, anyway. Oh my gosh. Megan just sent me the funniest DM. No, all right. Why am I dressed like a Pale Rider from, like Clint Eastwood in Pale Rider? Well, there's a good reason for that. After work, I had to go to a year-end party with a group of with the European Union Chamber of Commerce in Korea. It's an annual thing that happens annually, but it's a great place to go to a nice hotel and get some great food and some great drinks, open bar. So there may or may not have been a substantial amount of wine consumed at this point. And everyone also was given a free gift, a poinsettia in a garbage bag. That was our Christmas present from the European Chamber of Commerce, European Union Chamber of Commerce in Korea. The poinsettia in a garbage bag. But yeah, a lot of wine was consumed, and also I'm the defending beer chugging champion for the EUCCK. I don't even like beer. I am not a beer drinker. I don't enjoy beer drinking, but I had to defend my title tonight. And I was up against a Korean I've never seen before, and they declared the first round as a tie, which I clearly won. If you watch the video, I clearly won, but they made it that we had a drink off, and I think the guy beat me in the drink off, but the head of the EUCCK, he declared it a draw. So they gave us both a gift of a free bottle of wine. So I'm still the reigning champion. I have not been formally and officially deposed from my position as the European Union Chamber of Commerce Korea Busan chapter beer chugging champion. We'll see how that goes at the end of 2024. So yeah, we've had a few drinks, so we'll do our best here. Someone has pointed out that I look a bit slitty-eyed today. This is okay. Why I'm squinting? If I squint more than normal today, it's not because of the alcohol, as someone would have you believe. Megan Fox. it's because, okay, I blame Megan for the reason I'm squinting right now. I blame Megan Fox. Why I blame Megan Fox is last night when she was doing her stream of these two motions, the first two motions we're going to talk about, and it was being hilariously derailed by herself. I had my glasses sitting on the pillow next to me. I was sitting on like one set of pillows, and I had my glasses for some reason on top of a set of pillows next to me. And Megan said something funny, and I rolled over and I broke my own glasses because of Megan Fox. And this is like my spare glasses that have about a 7-year-old prescription in them. And so I can't really see well. So I kind of have to, I either have to squint, because these are like old bifocals, so I either have to squint or I have to look like this to read the screen properly. So I'm going for squinting. But my new frames will be in tomorrow, so we'll be good. So I blame Megan for just being funny and distracting herself. So here we are. All right. So that's where we are, and we've got a lot of things to get through here tonight. So let's jump into it. We already have a couple of things here. Stingy. What stingy? It's been a minute. Member for 13 months. 13 months? Question, exclamation, question, exclamation. Maybe I'm why Ozzy has no internet. No. Sorry, Jeff. Yeah, we didn't get it. We didn't get any breastises football today on Ozzy Overload's channel. Kitchen Knife Rescue. Hey, it's also been a minute. 3 months memberships. Okay, for you membership guys, here's your ship's bell. Did you hear what they found in Jeffrey Dahmer's freezer? Ben and Jerry. Wah, 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 wah. All right, that's good. I'm so glad you spent your 3 months membership chat for that joke. And Kevin Collins with a $10. The SS. Hello, everyone. SS. Yeah. No, these are coming up later. Stay tuned. And at the end, for those of you that stick around for however long this is going to take, I might show you the video from the beer chugging competition. Do we call it at the end of the stream today? It was videotaped, but yeah, the theme was something about the rich gold or something. So I did have my gold dragon tie on here, but it was kind of choking. I hate wearing ties. But so that's why I'm dressed like someone from Pale Rider, because this is actually a replica hat of Clint Eastwood's Pale Rider hat, and I'm just like wearing black because I'm a rebel, I'm a loner. There's things about me you wouldn't want to know. Stingy with a $2 super chat. How you doing, brother? Oh, FYI, Godzilla -1. Is so good. Yeah, I can't wait till it comes to Korea on a means that is not because Godzilla -1 will never come to the Korean theaters because Korea and Japan don't like each other, and Korea has their own sort of Godzilla. The Hollywood Godzilla comes to Korea because it's not a Japanese Godzilla. Japan Godzilla, like Shin Godzilla and Godzilla -1, do not come to Korea. So that's the problem. It's kind of like Oppenheimer didn't show in Japanese theaters for reasons. So that's where we are. And Megan Runzer, thank you so much for becoming a new YouTube member. You became a member of the Clean and Sober crew. That is awesome because everybody wants to be Legal Vice's member. Being my member is the greatest member ever. So thank you so much, Megan Runzer. Appreciate that. Oh my gosh. So where do we even start? Jeff, that's what a VPN is for. What's what a VPN? No, they like dropping the nosy word. That doesn't help you if that's what you're talking about. Oh, well, no, see, like the VPN thing. Oh, for watching the movie. Well, it has to. It's available in like from what I've heard, because I would never look at anything like or download or stream anything illegally myself. But from what I've heard, there's only like the cheap handheld camera in a movie theater version. As soon as like the first digital version drops, I'm all over it. So thanks. Yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm biding my time because, as you can see, I'm a huge Godzilla. Like I've said, this is one of my prized possessions right here. This is a framed poster from 1954, Raymond Burr Godzilla. Raymond Burr, who also played Perry Mason, the lawyer in the Perry Mason show. He was in the 1954 American version of Godzilla. And so that's my movie poster from there. And I've got a couple others I haven't put in frames yet that I bought at Anime Matsuri. They're just reprints. All right, so with that out of the way, if you want to talk about Destiny's former marriage, join us for our F Friday stream next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, because we're going to be talking about, we'll probably be talking about some Destiny next week, as well as some other topics that are going to be fun. But we'll talk about that later. We need to get into this because we've already messed around for 13 minutes and Megan's not even here. So it's all on me. I can't even blame her for taking so long. So we'll get there. All right, folks. Oof, where do we even start with this? This is, oh, I know where we need to start. We need to do the little grift here. We got 440 people here right now. It's early. Hopefully more people will flood in as it goes. Everybody put this out on your social media contacts and let everybody know what we're doing here. But we've only got 200 likes. So like 60% of you haven't done your job. Get down there and smash that like button. Surely you're already entertained because you're still here. And if you haven't subscribed, I would be super, super, super happy and thrilled if you would do me the favor of subscribing to the channel, giving me a chance and following through with this. But we also have our like and subscribe poll, which we do every day. Every day we have our like and subscribe poll, which is just our silly little way of reminding you to hit like and subscribe, because even when I watch like other content creators things on YouTube, I honest to God don't hit like button unless someone tells me to do it. So I'm telling you to do it. Get down there and smash that like button and take our like and subscribe poll. Today's like and subscribe poll says drop the subscribe button, just like J Hatch dropped Maya, and poke the like button, just like Sally Smith poked Maya, and vote. What will the defense accuse juror number 1 of next? The fall of the Holy Roman Empire is choice number 1. Choice number 2, stealing plans to the Death Star is number 3. And the extinction of the dinosaur, stealing the plans to the Death Star is number 2. Number 3 is the extinction of the dinosaurs. And number 4 is the future robot uprising. So choose which one of those will be the next thing that juror number 1 is accused of. Hey, Jules, good to see you here in chat. Notorious. Right. God. I don't even know where to start with this. Because, again, just like everything else we do here, It starts out funny, and then it gets like annoying and aggravated and angry at some point, and then it goes so far past the line of common sense, courtesy, reasonableness, logic, and professional decorum that it goes right back into the hilarious side of things. And that's the journey we're going to take you on today, from funny to frustrating and back to funny again. Unless you happen to be juror number 1. I can't imagine. I honest to God can't imagine being juror number 1 with this shit that's going on. Right. Let's start at the very beginning. That's a very good place to start, at least according to Julie Andrews. I need to embiggen this. Uncivil, did you get my email? Did you get Jules's email? Uncivil? She'd really like to know. Right, we're going to bring up the first motion of the day. Wait, why can't I do this? Where the hell? Oh, all right, sorry. I'm sorry, the wine is getting to me. I'm not here, just kidding. Here we go. Where do we want to be situated? Let's situate me at the bottom here. Although it kind of cuts off the bottom, it allows us a little more leeway here, and we can kind of stretch this out a bit, and which gives us even more leeway. And that doesn't look very good, does it? All right, let's roll it down one. How's that? Ah, there we go. I'll just have to remember that that's about the cutoff line right there. Okay, this is. Oh wait, that's the last one. We don't want that one now. This is the one we want. All right, this is where we want to start. All right, we'll start right here. Yeah, this is what we want. Oh, before we get going, we don't want to we don't want to miss these super chats to make people wait longer. And the super chats that come in, if we get like 10 super chats, we'll take a break and do it. Otherwise, we'll read them at the normal breaks in the conversation, just so we don't stop it every 6 seconds. We did this one already. Stingy, thank you so much. You get a twofer. We did a Megan Runzer, new member. Thank you so much, which means we've got two. Julia with a $2 super chat just rolled 666. Yahtzee. Cool. Kevin Collins also with a $5 super chat. I think the defense will use all the above on your poll. They could. They could. We'll get into it here. All righty. So this again is a motion filed by the plaintiffs. The plaintiffs are asking. They're asking for stuff. Plaintiffs Jack Kowalski, individually Jack Kowalski as parent and next friend of MK, a minor, and Jack Kowalski as personal representative of the estate of Beata Kowalski, deceased by and through undersigned counsel, hereby file their motion to compel. That's the motion for the court to order and force someone to do something, and the motion to supplement to motion for sanctions. They want the prosecution to be punished for something, and they've given us a little supplement to that. They've given us some more reasons to sanction, to take some money out of the pockets of the defense lawyers. And state, on November 2nd, 2023, that was 6 days ago, geez. On November 2nd, 2023, this court instructed defendants counsel to produce by the next day at noon any and all documents. Oh, sorry. It's November, December. It was a month and 6 days. Yeah. So remember this when they were doing the trial, and the judge said, by tomorrow morning, by tomorrow at noon, I want you to submit any and all documents with a scintilla of odor related to the Joint Commission. And as spoiler alert, as you may recall, they didn't. They really didn't give a lot. So they were ordered by noon the next day to submit any and all documents with a, quote, scintilla of odor, end quote, related to the Joint Commission and or CMS between 2015 and 2019. And due to dogs, homework, flooding, fires, famine, Godzilla attacks or whatnot, they were unable to produce a lot of additional documents. And any and all documents related to the run-up to the finding or classification of ongoing immediate jeopardy, as described by CMS. You remember that this is what led to all of this. They said, we have always, I can't remember exactly what the testimony was, but it was basically, we've always given the highest level of service or whatnot to people. And they said, well, what about this time you were like in imminent jeopardy of having all of your accreditations ripped? And that opened the door to all of this. On November 2, 2023, plaintiffs filed their notice of taking deposition ducis tecum of Angela Green, requesting these documents. On November 3rd, 2023, Ms. Green appeared for deposition with defendant's counsel. Plaintiff's counsel left that deposition with an approximately 8-inch stack of documents that had not previously been produced despite the court's order. See, we have this thing, depending on where you're from, discovery, or it's basically you have to turn over everything you have. All of your evidence you're going to use at trial. You have to give it to the other side, whether it's good for your case or bad for your case, unless it is specifically what they call work product, which, again, very simplistically and basically is work that you as a lawyer produce in the course of or in preparation for a lawsuit. You don't have to give that stuff, but everything else you basically have to give over to the other side. But during this, they got about an 8-inch stack of papers that they had never been given despite a court's order to do so. So the weekend following Ms. Green's deposition, defendant's counsel provided an inventory of 2 additional boxes. 2 additional boxes of documents in defendant's possession related to the hospital's accreditation status and the finding of immediate jeopardy. And that literally means you are in jeopardy of having your hospital's accreditations ripped immediately, like now, if you F up. So during the relevant time period, see Exhibit A. And on November 6th, 2023, defendant's counsel brought the 2 boxes of documents to the courthouse. However, this is a big however. I would say a big but that would, however, and there's a big however, as rebuttal testimony proceeded and jury instructions were read by the court, plaintiff's counsel did not have adequate time to inspect the documents, because that's what it was. They wanted to get all of these documents, inspect them, look through them, see if there was anything that could be considered evidence or they could use, and then they would return the documents to the defense. But they didn't have time to look through them. And again, on November 9th, 2023, plaintiff's counsel requested that defendant's counsel make the 2 boxes available for inspection at the courthouse while the parties awaited the verdict in anticipation of the punitive damages phase of the trial. Well, plaintiff's counsel explained the issue to the court before the jury was sent back to deliberate on November 9, 2023. In response, defendant's counsel said he had not checked his email that morning, but would as soon as the jury was instructed to deliberate that morning. Okay, so far, relatively so good. Defendant's counsel then informed plaintiff's counsel that the boxes were transported back to their office in Tampa and wanted to discuss the scope and purpose of plaintiff's requested inspection. It's like, okay, the boxes have been sent back to Tampa. Before we show you them, we want to talk about how, like, the scope of how much of the documents, what documents you want to look at, and why you want to look at them. Don't think it matters. The court told you to turn them over. And clearly, like, they want to look at them to see if you're, like, effing around. In response, plaintiff's counsel informed defendant's counsel that they wanted to see what else existed. That's literally, like, the court said turn the documents over. They didn't say turn the documents over after you ask and figure out why they want to use them. The court just said turn over the documents. Anything that has a scintilla of an odor of their IJ order. So the plaintiff's counsel informed defendant's counsel that they wanted to see what else existed that was subject to the court's order and admonition to produce everything. And you know how much I hate when people italics and bold in briefs and motions and things. But again, this is to emphasize the fact that the court literally said everything. Anything that has a scintilla of an odor of the IJ between 2015 and 2019, turn it over before noon tomorrow, was what the court said. But defendant's counsel stated that the boxes could be at the courthouse by 1 p.m. on November 9th, 2023. The jury returned a verdict shortly after 1 p.m. on November 9th, 2023. So they said, we can give you the box after 9, but then, the jury came back with a verdict, after 1, but the verdict came back shortly after 1, before they got the box there. And again, plaintiff's counsel did not have time to inspect the box got there, did not have time to inspect the 2 boxes of documents. After the verdict was read, the court shifted to hearing final arguments on the jury instructions and verdict form for the punitive damages phase, as well as evidentiary documents and admissions of the documents plaintiff had marked for punitive damages phase. Okay, so far so good. Fairly normal and expected motion here. We got nothing. There's nothing that's jumping out and being too shocking. But in short, plaintiffs did not have time to inspect the 2 boxes of additional documents in defendant's possession between the verdict and the commencement of punitive damages phase of the trial. After the punitive damages verdict was delivered, defendant again retained possession of the documents. So they brought them once, they didn't have time to look at them, they took them back to Tampa. They brought them back to the court, but then the jury came back with a verdict, they didn't have time to look at them, so the defense took them back again and didn't allow enough time for the plaintiffs to look at them. So on November 21st, 2023, plaintiff's counsel emailed defendant's counsel requesting a Dropbox link or other similar digital file containing the documents contained within the 2 boxes, as requested by the defendant, to produce the documents within 10 days. It says, please, within the next 10 days, provide us with a Dropbox, thumb drive, web drive, whatever, containing all of the documents that were in those 2 boxes we didn't have time to look at. Mexican Vader asks the most important question of all, what's in the box? What's in the box? Because as we all know, that actually is a very, very important question. Needs to be answered. so there we have it.
Today on you.
That's the wrong one. Oh my God, I pushed the wrong button. Let's try that again. Mexican Vader asked the most important question. What's in the box?
Put the gun down. I saw you with the box. What was in the box?
Because I envy your normal life.
Put the gun down, David.
It seems that envy is my sin.
No, what's in the box? Not till you give me the What's gun. In the fucking box? Give me the gun.
That was the most important question that was asked. Megan Fox, lol, button pushing. Yeah, we accidentally hit Miss Piggy, but whatever. All right, so they asked for these documents within the next 10 days. I'm so glad I don't have locals to distract me. On December 1, 2023, plaintiff's counsel followed up on the November 21st request, as the documents had not been provided. Shortly after, defendant's counsel responded and asked, what is the point at this time? So this is some BS. They were ordered by the court to produce these documents. They brought them slightly. They brought them twice. We'll at least say they brought these documents twice to the court. Both times there was not enough evidence for the for the plaintiffs to look through the documents, and so they took them back with them. Now the defense are asking for the documents again, and the response is, why do you want them? That was literally the response. Why? For what purpose? What do you want them for at this point? Because there was a court order? I don't know. That seems like a reasonable reason to give them, doesn't it? The court told you to give them? The court ordered you to turn the documents over? But no, apparently they don't think that's a good enough reason. So, all right. They say, what is the point of giving you these documents after everything has been looked through, after the jury has come back with a verdict? What is the point? And yeah, I would just argue that the court told you to do it, so you should. I don't think the court said put any particular time limit or any particular. It just said give them all of the documents, and you were late, and they kept asking for it, and you kept not giving it. So that kind of sends up the spidey sense. That makes the spidey sense tingle a little bit. That sort of sends up the bat signal that there might be a little something that they don't want you to know about in those files. But we don't know what it is because they're not turning it over. So, what do? We keep asking for it, but they keep not giving it. And when they do, they don't give enough time. They don't give enough time to consider these things. So we're asking the court for an order to compel them, to force them to give these documents. So they ask, what's the point? You keep asking for these documents. The trial's over. They've given their verdict. They've given the punitive damages. What's your point in asking for this? Underside counsel responded and informed defendant's counsel that, one, the court ordered all of these documents produced multiple times on the record, which is what I was just saying. The court said, well, the reason is because the judge effing told you to do it. That's why. So that's why we want them, because the court told you to do it. Number two, we have a pending motion for sanctions, and we're entitled to know what was withheld. It's like, we're coming after your back pocket. We're coming after the bottom line. We want to take money out of your back pocket for misbehavior and misconduct, and we want to know how bad you screwed up by not providing us with these documents. And number three, the defense is asking for a new trial. It's like, because you're asking for a new trial. You did this. This is on you. You asked for the new trial. And so we assume that if it's granted, we are entitled to this evidence or these documents. We're entitled to look at them that the court ordered you to produce to us during the first trial. So give them to us, because you're going to appeal this. And we're entitled to check these documents out and to prepare for the appeal. So fork them over, bucko. That's and those seem to be quite reasonable arguments. I mean, I have trouble finding a reason why that wouldn't be complied with. I mean, it makes sense to me. And number two and number three are extraneous and not really the important part. The most important reason for turning this over, when they ask, well, what's the point of this discovery at this time? Because number one, the court ordered you to produce these documents multiple times on the record, and you didn't give us enough time to do it. So now is the time to fork the documents over. Right, moving on. We've got the we'll get there in just a quick second. Defendant's continued failure to produce the court-ordered documents solidifies plaintiff's position in its pending motion for sanctions. I like this, and the plaintiff has been and continues to be prejudiced by defendant's refusals. Like, we've already got a motion for sanctions, to take money out of your pocket for misbehaving and not doing what the judge said to do or what the judge told you not to do. We've already got a motion for sanctions on the table, and the fact that you continue to deny to give us these documents that the court ordered, that's making your sanctions worse. We just want the documents to see how much worse it should make it. And plaintiff has been and continues to be prejudiced by the refusals. Your refusal to turn this over is hampering us in responding to your motions, your briefs, your supplementary BS, in preparing for another trial in case this happens to be given a new trial. Well, in fashioning the appropriate sanction, in deciding how much money to take from the defendant's lawyers, the court is guided by 6 factors set out in Kozel v. Ostendorf. But before we get to Kozel v. Ostendorf, I just want to say a super special thank you to Blue Varo, who has just gifted 5 Legal Vices memberships. If you got one of these 5 Legal Vices memberships, which was Todd M., Memerid, Brittany Gibbs, Micah Standing, Need Some Z's, and It's Happening with Harper. Happening with Harper didn't get it. She just said gifts. Or he. I assumed your gender. I don't know why. Anywho, if you're one of the 5 people that got the gifted memberships from Blue Varo, please give Blue Varo your super special thanks. And also Brian Miller. Well, we got the Blue Varo ships bells. We've got the Brian Miller ships bells. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. They are sanctioned. Who gets the sanction money? The court. It just goes in. It just goes into the court coffer. The important part of sanctions is it comes out of the lawyer's pocket. That's the important part of sanction. It's not really who gets the money. It's just who has to pay the money. So yeah, it comes out of the lawyer's pocket. That's the takeaway from sanctions. All righty. And Micah Standing says, Blue Varro, you're awesome. Thank you for the gift. Oh, Blue Varro is awesome. Everybody else who got one said thanks too. Right. That catches us up. How are we doing on the unleashing the Doggo Cam achievement? We're still like, what are we? We're still like $70 away. All right, we're still $70 away from Doggo Cam. No reason to even worry about it right now. But we do have 655 of you here. Thanks for being here, 655 of you, and all those on the replay too. Remember to hit the like and subscribe. Okay, now here's how we determine the appropriate level of sanctions, the appropriate level of money to take from a party who has committed a sanctionable offense in the court's eyes. The court is guided by the 6 factors set out in Kozel v. Ostendorf. Whether the attorney's disobedience was willful, deliberate, or... Wow, this is a new word in my vocabulary. Contumacious. The fuck does I have never seen this word in my entire life. All right. Contumacious is archaic and law. It's okay. It's an archaic legal term, especially of a defendant's behavior. Okay, this is a very specific archaic word at law. Contumacious, stubbornly or willful disobedient to authority. His refusal to make child support payments was contumacious. Okay. The fuck is this word again? Contumacious. I have, honest to God, never heard that word, and that has a really specific definition. So, I guess if we look at this, it says whether the attorney's disobedience was willful, deliberate, or stubborn and willfully disobedient to authority rather than an act of neglect or inexperience. So it has to be willful and deliberate. 2, whether the attorney has been previously sanctioned. So if you've been sanctioned once, the more you get sanctioned, the more likely you are to get sanctioned again, because it kind of shows you have a pattern. 3, whether the client was personally involved in the act of disobedience, whether now we're bolded. I don't like bolded stuff or italics, but this is bold and italic, so I hope it's for something important, not just to be aggrandizing and superfluous and all these other words. Whether the delay prejudiced the opposing party through undue expense, loss of evidence, or in some other fashion. Okay, we'll get back there, I'm sure. Whether the attorney offered reasonable justification for noncompliance, and that's the one that clearly the defense is going to go for. They're going to say, hey, here are our reasonable justifications for not complying with this order. And 6, whether the delay created significant problems of judicial administration. So I'm going to call this. I've only skimmed through this, but I'm going to call number 4. They're saying whether the delay prejudiced an opposing party through undue expense, loss of evidence, or in some other fashion. They're going to say because the evidence has been destroyed or not given to us or hidden from us, we haven't been able to appropriately and properly represent our client. We haven't been able to assess the particular parts of the case. And also, every time we have to ask you for this, every time we have to send a letter, that costs our client money. So the Kozel factors are easily satisfied here, but the 4th Kozel factor involves consideration of the prejudice to the plaintiffs. Defendant's continued fail to produce the requested documents prevents the plaintiff from demonstrating the degree of the prejudice caused by the defendant's late production. Oh wow. Okay, I like that argument. The fact that the defendant continually fails to give us the documents prevents us from seeing exactly how bad our case was prejudiced by them not doing it. So we need to see the documents in order to know how bad it was that they hid them from us. I kind of like that one. Plaintiffs believe that they were material prejudiced in being prohibited from putting on materially relevant evidence that should have been admitted rebuttal and punitive damages case. Should have been admitted in the anyway. But plaintiffs have no way of demonstrating to the court that the withheld documents contain material information that would have benefited their case. Okay, so they're saying we have this standard to meet. We have to We have to show you that, we believe we were materially prejudiced from being prohibited from putting on this evidence, but we haven't seen the evidence, so we don't have any way to show the court how we were prejudiced by this. We can't show you how our case could have been benefited by this because we haven't received any of it. We don't know if it'll benefit our case or not, so we can't do that. Plaintiffs also fear the destruction or loss of 2 boxes of inventoried documents and wish to preserve them for appeal, or as the defendant urges, a new trial. Well, we know that's a valid reason for concern because literally hurricanes ate somebody's paper. So a hurricane ate some documents, and the amount of phones that were lost or broken by J Hatch up to and during this trial are phenomenal. There's a vast wasteland, vast landfill full of J Hatch phones somewhere out there because none of them seem to be available to look at. But before we jump back into this, we've got some important things to do here right now. Let's see. Ooh, Nancy Joe M gets the foghorn. Doggo Cam, I hope Judge Carroll needs 5 minutes. Thank you so much for that, Nancy Joe M. Wait, what do we do here? Sorry. That's a very nice graphic there. Thank you so much for that. And I did like that, how the judge would occasionally go, look, I'm so sick of this BS that I just need 5 minutes. If he starts the motion hearing is scheduled for the 15th, which is next Friday, which is also my F-ing Friday. So if we don't cover it on F-ing Friday, which we probably won't, I'll just cover it again on Saturday. But yeah, if it starts out with him introducing the parties and taking all this stuff and then starting case and going, all right, I've read through the motions and I need to take 5 minutes. We know what he's going to think because I did love his decorum. I did love his professionalism when the judge got heated enough that he needed to take a break. He called the break and stepped down for a bit. Good for him. And thank you so much, Nancy Joe. The Doggo Cam is, what are we? We're about $25 away from unlocking Doggo Cam achievements. So we're about 25 away. Bass, what's up, Bass? Member for 13 months. I heard juror number 1 was contumacious. I've never heard that word before. And Kimmy, member for 7 months. When the docs are handed over, Anderson's firm will become the mesothelioma firm of future J Hatch cases. Damn it. Are you... I'm not even going to look that up. Mesothelioma firm of future J Hatch cases. Hopefully Anderson can buy his house back. Oh yeah. He needs to get the old house back. Assuming everything goes well, he'll make some scratch out of this. So I don't even know what that word means. It sounds like a medical condition or a drug. I have no idea what that means, but again, curiosity kind of gets to me a bit. All right. Curiosity 1. Let me figure out what the hell this is. What are you doing to me, guys? The type of cancer that develops in the lining that covers the outer surfaces of the body's organs, usually linked to asbestos exposure. Yikes. That sounds ridiculously unpleasant. It's like cancer that develops in the linings that cover the outer surface of some of the body's organs. All right. Yuck. Now I have to go back and read that. So when the docs are handed over, Anderson's firm will become the cancer that affects the lining of some organs firm of future J Hatch cases. There'll be cancer to J Hatch, I hope is what you're saying there. All right. That's graphic and descriptive. Okay. Well, that leads us to the next super chat here, which is Blue Varu in the house, who let the doggos out. All right. Well, that's a good time for a quick little break here. Then we'll jump back into this. We have some business to take care of right here, right now. Oh, normally, Yoda, I for those of you that don't know, I have two English bulldogs, Strawberry and Yoda. Normally, Yoda kind of just F's off about 2 hours ago. Oh, I said Yoda's name. So Yoda was sleeping until I mentioned Yoda's name. Sometimes I think he doesn't even know his name, but then sometimes I think he does. So I don't know what to do sometimes with him. But usually he just kind of F's off and what have we done here? Hang on, sorry. I'm trying to get the camera stuff worked out. We've just got way too much going on here. What are you doing? Bring that on up. Stop. We need to stop the screen and we need to restart this screen here with the windows. Where are you at? And you all heard Yoda's just snort there. Yoda's a good snorter. All right, there's that. We need to bring up the extra cam. Where is the present extra cam? And there's, as soon as I say I'm going to show Yoda, because Yoda heard his name, he woke up and walked into the next room. So we're just going to have to go back to our normal strawberry cam. We haven't seen Yoda in a while. So, all right. There we go. It is that time again. And thanks to Blue Varro.
Release the hounds.
We have my buddy here. This is Strawberry. Strawberry, she's my buddy. One of my English bulldogs. Yoda has left the building because that's what Yodas do. And Strawberry will probably just sit there and stare at all of you the entire night until some other time. All right, so there we are. We have Doggo Cam thanks to Blue Varro. Deeply, deeply appreciated. Again, thank you so much. Who let the doggos out? You let the dog out. That's who. And Gigi with the $2 super chat for the mostest and bestest Lorax. Thank you so much, and a happy holiday to everybody. And Manders 13 bringing out the doggos. Oh, we did. Oh, thank you so much. That's like an extra bonus one. So we'll give you the extra bonus foghorn. Yeah. P.S. You're looking quite snappy today. Well, I had this function to go to, so I'm wearing my went to a function clothes. All right. Thank you for all of that. We got all that out of the way. Let's jump back into the motion. All right, Strawberry's down for the count. Strawberry's gonna go back to sleep. All right, where are we here? Plaintiffs also fear the destruction or loss of the 2 boxes of the inventory documents. And we said that's a valid concern because hurricanes and cell phone breakages are rampant in anything that has anything to do with the defense's evidentiary documents. And they want to preserve them for appeal or, as the defendant urges, a new trial. On more than one occasion, this court admonished defendant's counsel for his failure to produce documents at issue. So yeah, more than once, the court told them, you better get these damn documents there. I ordered you to do it, now do it. As of the date of this filing, plaintiff's counsel has not received a response from defendant's counsel and has not received a Dropbox link containing the requested documents. Defendant's original withholding and continued defiance has not only prejudiced plaintiff's ability to present a complete case litigated fully on its merits, but is impeding the court's review of the appropriate sanction to be levied. Again, I like how they're just arguing, we can't tell how much you should fine them and you should punish them because we haven't seen them yet. We need to see them in order to know how bad it is. I do like that argument. Defendant's original withholding and continued defiance has not only prejudiced plaintiff's ability to complete case litigated fully on its merits, but is impeding the court's review of the appropriate sanctions to be levied. Plaintiffs respectfully request this honorable court to enter an order compelling the production of the requested documents contained within the 2 boxes that were brought to the courthouse on November 6th, 2023 and November 9th, 2023 for attorney's fees and costs in having to bring the motions. Like we had to do, you didn't turn this over. So we had to ask for this. We had to go to a lot of time and money to prepare this stupid motion and submit it to the court and argue it because you didn't give us. So we want you to pay for it. We want you to pay our guys' costs. So they've asked for attorney's fees and costs in having to bring this motion and for any and all other sanctions the court deems just and proper. Wherefore, Jack Kowalski, individually, Jack Kowalski is a parent and friend of MK, a minor, and Jack Kowalski as personal representative of the estate of Beata Kowalski, deceased, respectfully request this honorable court to request respectfully request this honorable court enter an order compelling the production of the requested documents for fees and costs associated with bringing this motion for any and all sanctions this court deems just and proper, and for such further relief as the court finds justified. Now, what they've done here in the appendix, they've listed the documents, and I'm assuming the highlighted stuff is the one that they really want. But this is a very, very lengthy list of documents. You know, the quality assurance and performance imperative plan, JHATCH ACHS peer review committee stuff, OPE plan, JHATCH qualify assessment of performance improvisation plan. But there are some that are highlighted here. I mean, these are just all of the documents they want, all of them. Long list. There was a blue box. Now this is what was in the black box. Sepsis mortality for the past 60 days, the decompensating pediatric patient PowerPoint presentation printout. Ooh, there's some alliteration for you. There's law and lumber. We're gonna get to that's the last thing we're gonna do. Law and lumber asks us here if we got the latest motion. The latest defensive motion yet, because OMFG, the nausers, as Churchill would say. It's what I'm calling the nausea brief. Yeah, we'll get there. Help me, I'm in shock PowerPoint presentation printout. I love the alliteration. There's like way too much alliteration here. The decompensating pediatric patient PowerPoint presentation printout and the help me, I'm in shock PowerPoint presentation printout. Personally, I want to see the help me, I'm in shock PowerPoint presentation printout as well, just because it seems really silly. Temperatures, heart rates, pressures, oxygen, sepsis mortality, on and on this list goes of things they want. And then they've got some highlighted stuff here. I'm assuming it's because like they really, really want the highlighted stuff, but I have really no way to know personally what the highlighted stuff is. Event cause / analysis review. Something happened and there's an analysis review. They want to see that. Privileged information under Florida 395 and 766 and Federal Healthcare Quality Improvement Act and Patient Safety and Quality Information Act. What's the next highlighted stuff? This is all the documents. Okay. AHC broadcast, JHATCH leadership transition and town meeting. And they want another AHC broadcast leadership transition at JHATCH board quality and patient safety committee minutes meeting. Yeah, what did they discuss at the JHATCH board quality and patient safety committee? Disclosures of adverse medical events. That would be a good one. Standards and credentials committee attendance roster. Who attended this meeting? That's a good thing to have, so they can look at those for potential witnesses, complaints, or grievances from patient / family. So there's some family filed some grievances on 4/18/18. They want those. And there's a board of trustees minutes, meeting minutes on 2/19/19. There's lots of documents they want. Complaints or grievances from patient family, patient rights and responsibilities, complaints or grievances from patient family. Exhibit B, this is the string of emails. This is the one that culminates with the, why are you really asking for this stuff right now? So it's just this long 6-page list of, I'm following up on the below. When are you going to give us this stuff? Give us the link, give us the thumb drive, whatever. Can we make a time? They ask, what's the point of it at this time? Why do you want it after trial's over? We've already got to the end. Why do you want these documents that were supposed to have been done in trial? Well, their answer, as we discussed earlier, was the court ordered you to produce them, so we want them, dumbass. That's the most important one right there, because the court said to repeatedly. And 2, we have a pending motion for sanctions, and we're entitled to know what was withheld. And in parentheses, so we know how badly you screwed up and what you really, really, really tried to hide by not giving to us, so that we know exactly how much money we should ask the court for. And the defendant is asking for a new trial. You're asking for the new trial. We need these documents to prepare for that new trial in case it's granted. So give us this stuff right now. And if you don't give it to us, now, we're going to file a motion to compel. And they did, because they never got them. That right there is the end of the first motion. Why does it keep asking me this? Close. I don't want to save anything. Go away. All right. That's the end of the first motion. And before we move on, we have one thing to take care of here. We've got Whiskey 77, which is clearly one of the best names out there on the entire internet. Mezzo is class action suit that has been running around the clock commercials for years. Mezzo is running a class action lawsuit commercial for years. Well, there you go. And the one thing I forgot to do is this is one thing this is totally random. We're just going to use this. Law and Lumber, who's here in chat, he does his little black kitty on a unicorn, rainbowy, swipey thing. This is sort of a temporary makeshift swipey thing that I'm going to do. But my editor guy put together this new little Korean Christmas. I don't know why I said Korean. This little Christmas intro animation. So we'll do this 30-second animation right now just to show you this cool thing. But this will be the opening and closing of the show throughout the rest of the month until Christmas. So brace yourselves. This is our new intro and outro for the Christmas season. I forgot to do that at the beginning of the show, so we'll do it right now at the 1 hour grifty mark. So that was just a little thing that's come up, but we'll do that to the beginning and the close of every show until Christmas. So Whiskey 77, yeah, we've got your class action thing there. Thank you so much. You get the ship's bells, and Julie O also with a $5 super chat. You get a set of bells. Let's bring down up here. Julie O says this is like when Killary was asked about Benghazi, and she said, "What difference does it make?" A big one. Yeah. Look, when the court orders you to turn something over, you turn it over. That's just what you do. Or you give the court a very, very specific, justified reason for each and every document why you don't have to turn that particular document over. You don't just not do it. Because judges don't like that, parties don't like it, and it leads to these motions to compel, it leads to sanctions, and it leads to a really bad image for your client. I don't understand why Johns Hopkins is so intent on doing everything they possibly can to make this worse. Everything they do makes it worse. But that's the path they've chosen. And we're going to see that with the last motion, this thing they filed yesterday. I mean, I was horrified when I read this last thing we're going to read. And it seems like everyone else was too. But we'll get to that in a second. But what we need to do now is we're going to look at the defense's objection. The objections to submitting these documents. All right, here we go. Let's embiggenate it. We can close that window. We can, there we go. How's that look? Is that legible for everybody? Defendant's objections to production of black and blue boxes, joint commission documents. Now, we don't have the time to go through all of these. Yeah, J Hatch choosing violence. Why am I not surprised? I mean, honestly, if I was on J Hatch's board of directors, I would go, "Oh my God, we got our ass handed to us on this. Let's ask the judge for a reduced verdict because $261 million is patently absurd. Let's ask the judge for a reduced amount, take our losses, and do whatever we can to rebuild our reputation." But no, they chose to go the other way and to make themselves look even worse. And then they filed this motion yesterday that makes even the worst part worse. I don't understand. It seems like they're doing everything they can to make everybody in existence really, really, really hate them. Did people learn nothing from Coors Light and things from Bud Light and things like that? Did nobody learn anything? Oh, and Bass with a $4.99 super chat. Asbestos I can. Asbestos I can. Nice. Yeah, it's cute. Jeff is the only person on earth who hasn't seen the mesothelioma commercials. No, yeah, we don't have that here in Korea, I guess. Watch more. The Price is Right. Oh no, so it's like an old people cancer. All right. Thank you so much for that. And Calico 26 is calling a juror a nosy more dumb than scissors for matinees. I almost read scissors for manatees. That'd be kind of weird. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that in a bit. Thank you so much, Calico 26. All right. Oh, I was going to jump back into this, but we keep getting the super chat, so we'll keep reading them. And Calico 26 again with the auto correction scissors for fingers. Okay. All right, that makes more sense. And Stingy, thank you so much for $2 more. They went full Drader. You never go full Drader. Yeah, never go full J Hatch either. Yeah, Urza says there has to be something really bad in those boxes. Yeah. There's a couple of ways that people handle discovery motions and things like that. They'll either go, okay, here's everything, just dig through it, or they'll say, okay, here's these 2 boxes and an entire dump truck full of stuff that you didn't ask for, and then you get to sort through the dump truck full of papers, and you get to see if there's a couple of pages you find relevant. You can bury it in a billion other documents, or but I mean, this, no, we're not going to give it to you. That's kind of a risky thing, because it's the more you don't want to give it, the more that person wants it. So yeah, I think it's a bad strategy, but that's the strategy they've chosen. So they get to live with it. 5 runs. Defendant's objection to production of black and blue boxes. It's a big giant bruise box, isn't it? Black and blue boxes, Joint Commission documents. Defendant, Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital, Inc., by and through undersigned counsel, states that it is in the process of reviewing and preparing for production certain documents pertaining to Joint Commission and CMS reviews conducted by defendant in late 2018 and early 2019. Oh, so they're preparing them. They haven't had 5 fucking years to do this. Like a hospital doesn't know where its records are. Not buying any of this shit. We're in the process of preparing it, even though it was ordered 6 freaking weeks ago. Blood pressure beginning to rise. I can feel it, feeling a little flushed. Defendant states that it objects in general to production of these documents. See, this is interesting. They've already brought them to the court twice, on the 6th and the 9th of November. Now they're objecting to bringing them again. Let's find out why. Inasmuch as the same are completely irrelevant to the above-styled cause, particularly in post-trial proceedings, and as such are beyond the scope of permissible discovery. In other words, we don't have to turn them over now because the trial's over. The trial's over. You don't need them anymore. This is post-trial stuff. It's not necessary anymore. Does that smell just like a little bit that they delayed and obfuscated and hid and failed to provide and limited the time and chose some poor timing to reduce these to release these documents to allow them to be reviewed by the plaintiff so that they wouldn't be able to look at them before the end of the proceedings? Does it look a little bit like that? Because that's kind of what it smells like to me. It smells like they may have deliberately delayed allowing the documents or specifically provided them at times where there wouldn't be enough time for them to review. And then the trials ended and haha, you didn't review them before the trial ended, so you don't have a need for it. They're irrelevant now. They're irrelevant. You should have looked at them before, but this smells bad to me. Yeah, judge told them otherwise. The judge didn't put a time limit on. Well, he did. He said get them by tomorrow at 1 p.m. He didn't say get them by tomorrow at 1 p.m. or if you haven't given them by the end of the trial, forget about it. He didn't say that. Yeah, my dog ate my homework. My cat peed in the boxes. No, this was the hurricane ate it. All of our cell phones in the universe broke, etc., etc. Defendant states that it objects in general to production of these documents inasmuch as the same are completely irrelevant to the above styled cause, particularly in post-trial proceedings, and as such are beyond the scope of discovery. They can't discover them now because it's over. Defendant incorporates by reference in this regard is supplemental disclosure and motion for clarification and response to plaintiff's motion for sanctions and cross motion for sanctions with respect here too. Ooh, everybody, you want sanctions, and you want sanctions. Everybody wants the sanctions. Defendant further states that such production as it indulges, as it indulges. That's some BS. The production as it indulges, the production of documents that it gives out of the kindness and consideration of his own heart. We don't have to give them to you, but whatever we indulge you with and provide you with out of the goodness of our own heart, notwithstanding this objection, is strictly subject to the court's previous confidentiality order. And the material produced must be reviewed and then promptly returned. That's exactly what they said. They said, we want to see it and immediately return it. They specifically said that in their motion. They didn't say, we want to take it and we want to parade it around and release it to everybody and not keep it confidential. Because a lot of times when lawyers give each other documents, they contain a lot of personal, private, and confidential information. So you look at them, you go, okay, I'll forget I saw this. This has nothing to do with the case we're working on. I forget I saw that. All right, Megan, I'll check the DMs in a second. So yeah, you get a lot of this information that's irrelevant, or it may potentially be relevant, but you're not sure. And then when you review it, you go, okay, we don't need that, but it has confidential and private information. You just pretend you never saw it and you forget it. That's what they said they wanted to do. They never said they wanted to put it out there for the world. But this is the part that gets under my skin a little bit. Even though we have this objection, and any production of documents that we indulge the plaintiffs in, you're not indulging the plaintiffs in shit. You are complying with the court's order to do it and the several reminders by the court that you have failed to do it. So yeah, this whole, everything that we just indulge them to give, even though we don't think we have to. Anything we just give them out of the beneficence of our own heart. It's still subject to confidentiality. So, that's icky. We're objecting to everything, but if we indulge you, if we lower ourselves, if we deign to give you this information out of the kindness of our heart, even though we don't have to, you still have to keep it confidential. Gross. In addition, the following information and documents from the boxes made available during trial of this matter is objected to upon the basis stated. So now they go through a really long list of documents and why they're objecting to it. We'll just take some random ones as we go through here and look at some of the random reasons why they don't want to turn over documents. There's like 30 pages of reasons. So we won't go through all of them. We'll just, like I said, we'll just randomly pick stuff off and talk about them. Each having reference to the item number on the inventory attached here to as Exhibit A and made a part thereof. Well, the first one, the narrative is the J. Hatch Cardiac Surgery Quality Review Summary in anticipation of litigation, attorney-client privilege. So they're saying this is the work product rule. They're saying it's our product. They can create their own product. They could go through the whole process we went through, but we did it specifically for the purpose of preparing. This document only exists because we're preparing for litigation. And also it has private client attorney privilege, so we don't have to turn it over to you. And their objection is this work product, attorney-client privilege. It was prepared in anticipation of litigation and trial. Well, was it really? Also, peer review privilege pursuant to this section and that section, as well as the patient safety review committee privilege. Is there such a thing as a patient safety review committee privilege? I haven't read anything in the. Again, I could be wrong. I don't know Florida law, but there's the priest confessioner privilege. There's the lawyer client privilege. There's the spousal privilege where you can't be compelled to testify against your spouse. I don't know that there's a patient safety review committee privilege. See, and just the title of the document makes me question, was it really a document that was only prepared in anticipation of Maya's lawsuit against them. A cardiac surgery quality review summary. That sort of sounds like something you would do in the normal course of business. The J-Hatch congenital diaphragmatic hernia program quality review summary. Again, the same objections run through a lot of these. Porcelain Thunder says, don't forget white privilege. Yeah, don't forget the white privilege. Mathis agrees. Kurt went over the irrelevant law. Apparently, it can be real. Well, like I said, I've never heard of this. What was the privilege they claimed? Yeah, patient safety review committee privilege. All right, it may or may not be a thing, but whatever. There's things called redactions. You don't have to give the entire document. If there are privileged bits or if there are confidential and personal things, that little black marker, you can redact things and give them. What's a boosh? Okay, this is what can they possibly have against submitting minutes of meetings? Meeting minutes in agenda binder for monitoring for tag whatever, monitoring of committee minutes by committee chairs. Objection subject to the peer review committee privilege. Okay. Medication treatment diagnosis care plan. The basic contains substantial non-party patient information, disclosure of which would violate the privacy rights under third. Okay, see now this kind of objection makes me want to see the documents even more. The whole purpose of these documents are anything that has a scintilla of odor of having anything to do with the immediate jeopardy of having their credentials ripped. So clearly it's not all about Maya. Clearly they're asking for information about third-party medical practices and things like that. So to object to turning this over on the basis that it contains substantial information that's not related to the parties in this lawsuit is kind of rings disingenuous to me, I think. Again, I don't know. It seems really, really sus to me because that's the whole point, to look at this pattern. Not just what deals with the Kowalski stuff. And again, if it violates privacy rights, fucking redact the names, telephone numbers, identifying factors. Various medical records. Again, non-party patient information. Of course it does, because they're not a party to the case. I don't like this. This is making me get grumpy again already. Now we've entered the grumpy phase. Not the Johnny Depp grumpy thing. That's a totally different byproduct of a canine companion, but yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. They can just redact the names of the patients, redact any identifying information, but that's what they seem to rely on all these things. Probably anything with a name on it, they've objected to on that reason. J-Hatch cardiac surgery, diaphragmatic hernia. See, they keep doing the same review, but they keep saying it's a work product, attorney-client privilege. It's starting to seem to me like it's a regular check, a regular quality review summary that they do, not just necessarily for participation in this litigation. And grumpy was Amber, not the dog. Well, she blamed it on the dogs. Amber blamed the grumpy on the dog, even though we know it was her. Cardiology feedback. So performance feedback report, cardiology, peer review committee privilege. I don't have the energy to go through. We might have to do this for our next Maya deal. Look at what this 766.101 statute is. That apparently has a peer review committee privilege. Hematology and oncology, minutes of meetings, stuff that we don't know what it is. All privileged because of this committee thing here. J-Hatch board quality and patient safety committee minutes meetings. Now I can't do that either because it's got this peer review committee privilege. Handwritten note or staffing medication. That'd be interesting to see. Patient activity logs, grievance and complaint logs. They don't want to turn over the grievance and complaint logs, which probably serve as the backbone for these IJ problems that they were suffering. Objection on the basis that the document contains substantial non-party patient information. disclosure of which would violate the privacy rights of third parties under HIPAA and Florida law. Remove the identifying characteristics. That's all it takes. You've had eons to do this. You should have done it without the court having to order you to do it by 1 p.m. the next day, but you've got to you just get an army of slaves down there, these little, law clerks and other grunts. Just get an army of them down there to start going through and redacting personal and private information. This is a bullshit excuse in my book. Redact all of the third-party patient identifying information and submit the documents the way the court ordered you to do. Physician notes, activity logs, emails of the board minutes, non-party patient records. Okay, it's interesting that they object to non-party patient records on the grounds that it contains non-party patient information. Well, duh. But yeah, Billy Murray says, yeah, they didn't care about juror number one's privacy, right? The jurors aren't worried about it, probably. Bring it on. They were seething. Everybody, all of this needs to come out. Just redact it. That's the answer to all of this. Redact the personally identifying information. And if there are some work product things, weed them out, but I'm not buying it. I'm not compelled yet. Discharge logs. Again, this is all just non-party patient information. And there we go. That's the end of this ridiculous motion. But now we've got the inventory of what's in the box. What's in the box? We've got the inventory of what's in the box. Do we want to do that again? I think so.
Put the gun down. I'll show you with the box. What was in the box?
Because I envy your normal life.
Put the gun down, David.
It seems that envy is my sin.
Oh, what's in the box? Not till you give me the what's gun. In the fucking box? Give me the gun.
All right, yeah, we had to do that again. So yeah, the sepsis flow sheets, Perno letter to Eric Lee. There's so much in these documents. Ventilators, all this stuff. So some of it they turned over, a lot of it they don't want to turn over. The rest they say is irrelevant. And that's the end of that motion. Now we've got a hearing on the 15th where they're going to probably argue this and all the other motions. They may have a separate motion to hear all this. I don't know. But they're going to be arguing 6 or 7 different things on the 15th. Hopefully, because I'm self-interested. I care about myself. That's the day I have my F at Friday stream scheduled for at 7 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, I don't know if I can. We'll see. It's at 7 p.m. Eastern on the 15th. So on the 15th, the morning should be the hearing. If it's live, I'll probably hang out with Megan or whatever. If it's not, I don't know what I'll do. I might just go to sleep. But Friday evening, Friday p.m. the 15th is the F at Friday stream. So we might be able to talk about some of this stuff. We'll probably save it for Saturday. I don't know. We'll work on it later. But right now we got a couple of super McChats to get through here. Tank Rad in the house. Lol. This is more like Leroy Jenkins moment for Hatch. Or they just scream Leroy Jenkins and run willy-nilly into the battle. How is this a Leroy Jenkins moment? Oh, that's funny. Oh, and by the way, Tank Rat remind me, because Tank Rat always drops a bajillion memberships and things. I finally figured out the math. So the gifted memberships will now count towards drinks on F at Friday. Volpe Fox, thank you so much. Little behind, but why is it a big deal for J Hatch now? They brought the boxes for them to look at earlier, and now they don't want to show them. Well, when you catch up, Volpe Fox, it's basically because they were probably delaying turning them over because they didn't want anyone to see what was in the box, and they purposely did it at times that were inconvenient. And then once the trial's over, hey, the trial's over. You don't need these anymore. What's the point? It's all moot. It's all irrelevant because the trial's over. That's the argument they're going with, it seems. And Ellie, oh God, we don't want to do the purge. We don't want to do the purge. 766 101 Medical Review Committee immunity from liability. Immunity from liability and privilege are different, though. Like I said, I'll have to read this and look through it and consider it. Just because you're immune from liability doesn't mean the information that you have or you gather or you discuss as part of that is automatically privileged and doesn't have to be turned over. I mean, you can go, ha, look at all this. We did all of these horrible things. We said all these horrible things. We made all these horrible reviews and decisions, but you can't do anything with it. That's different than saying you can't see it. So, yeah, well, I'll just see. I'll look into it. I just haven't had time, and I just don't have the energy right now to do it live. And Kevin Collins. They brought their boxes twice. The objections would have been entertained then, so they had to know that then it could have been addressed then. Well, like I said, the first time they brought them, like when the jury started deliberating, they brought them like just shortly after 1 p.m. And then shortly after 1 p.m., the verdict came back. So they didn't have time to look at them. And then the plaintiff also didn't have time to look at them the first time they were brought. I can't remember what the reason was. But yeah, and what you're saying is they already brought them once. So they could have said, no, we don't have to bring them. They could have objected to bringing them on those 2 occasions, which they didn't. So, yeah, I mean, that's a good point. You had the chance to object before you brought them. You brought them once. You brought them twice. So there's no damn reason why you shouldn't bring them a third time. That's actually a very, very good argument. You didn't object, so now you don't get to object. That's actually a darn good thing. By front says Tank Rat has supplied me like 3 years of green names, 3 years of memberships. Yeah, Tank Rat is awesome. I concur with that argument. All right. I think that catches us up. We're all caught up here. Dana Loves Zumba says, in my opinion, Jay Hatch is holding the documents hostage so as to avoid opening more floodgates. It's quite possible. But they haven't turned them over, so nobody knows. That's the whole point of this. Nobody knows what's in them because they haven't turned them over yet. So, all right, we're now at a dumbfounded. I'm just dumbfounded by this last motion. What have you done, Megan? What have you sent me? Oh no. Megan, I can't show that. There's no way I can show that, but Megan's Locals, that's a ridiculous meme. Oh my God, I can't show that. All right, let me check the monetization status right now of this particular stream. Let me bring this up. See if we've gone completely demonetized by this point, which normally we're just like limited monetization. But then I appeal and then they put back the monetization within like a day or two. But let's see what we're looking at right now on this live stream is. Yep, we are at limited advertising for this, so let's appeal that right now. Okay, we're requesting a review. All right, YouTube human reviewers, as Steph the Alter Nerd says. Yeah, we're not saying any of the currency words. We're not saying any bad words. We are literally reading arguments, assertions, and allegations made by defense lawyers in a pending lawsuit. It's ongoing. This is like a real thing. I'm not glorifying or in any way supporting the failed painter from Austria or people of his ilk. We're just reading about it. We're reading about, as Winston Churchill said, the Nazis. So, all right, let's take this moment here as we read Happy Annie's super chat. Can Shapiro and Hunter be reported to the bar for their conduct is deplorable and, in my opinion, unethical? I think they should be. For the last motion they submitted where they were dredging up juror number one's previous 20-year-ago history that was never followed through on by any of the authorities, that shit should have earned them a reprimand, a huge-ass sanction from the judge, and a report to their bar. Absolutely. I think it was unprofessional. I think it was undignified. I think it was disgusting, low, despicable, mean, and every other sort of bad adjective that you can throw at it. I honest to God don't know how they looked. This is what I thought then. I thought that was the lowest they could go with pulling shit like that. Then I read the motion that was submitted on the 7th yesterday for like, I guess it was yesterday for a lot of you, 2 days ago for me now. Oh my God. This new motion is oh, dog stretch. Oh, there you go. It's a strawberry stretch. It's a strawberry stretch. Yes. Yeah, this is a, and I mean, honest to God, my monetization is going out the window. That's how bad this motion is. I did nothing wrong. I'm just reading what the defense said in their motion, and I'm gonna go to financial hell for it. So whatever. That's why I'm sort of grifting just a little bit today. Well, speaking of grifting, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We've currently got 782 peeps here and 532 likes. That's like 150 if you haven't done your job. So the 150 of you, at least, I know there's been some turnovers. There's probably like 400 or 500 if you haven't done your job. So get down there and smash that like button in the next 30 seconds while we review the poll. And if you haven't subscribed, I really, really, really would appreciate your subscription. Give me a chance. Follow me, watch my videos. We do Maya stuff. We got Y&W Melly, a double murder retrial coming up soon. Sarah Boone is on the horizon. We've got some fiery Murdoch stuff with Becky Hill going on that we really need to get to before that gets outdated. We do a bunch of other stuff. So follow me, give me a subscription, and I think we'll be good friends because my chat's the best chat on the entire internet. The Vice Squad. And take our like and subscribe poll. Currently, we've got 549 votes and 555 likes. So some of you that hit like didn't actually take the poll. Our poll today is, before we get into this new motion, and you'll see why I put up this poll after we look at this new supplementary brief. Drop the subscribe button like J Hatch may or may not have dropped Maya. Poke the like button like Smith poked Maya. And vote. What will the defense accuse juror number 1 of next? What will juror number 1 be accused of next? So far, 16% of you have said the extinction of the dinosaurs. 21% of you have said the future robot uprising. 27% of you said juror number 1 will next be accused of stealing plans to the Death Star. And a full 36% of you, more than a third of you, have said that juror number 1 will next be accused of the fall of the Holy Roman Empire. That's our little like and subscribe poll for the day. So let's get ourselves comfortable, and we join you 800 people that are here right now, and sit back. And this requires a bit of a drink. And you know, Rob, Lawn Lumber Rob has his robot jurors. I'm thinking I need to start collecting the Maker's Mark Christmas jury. We need to get like 9 bottles of Maker's Mark sweatery, wintry, bourbony things, so we can have our Maker's Mark juror thing. It looks like Tom Servo from MST3K. But anyway, this requires a drink. Because you thought that motion to bring up what he was alleged to have done 20 years ago that was never followed through, no action was ever taken on it. You thought that was low? Sweet baby Jesus in a dumpster. This is ugly. This next motion, seriously, is some ugly, ugly shit. Now, it's done in a very devious way. I think it's done in a very devious way, which we'll talk about here in just a quick second. But first, Christine D. with a $2 super chat. I'm new here. Tell me about yourself, please. Hi, I'm Legal Vices. I have a channel called Legal Vices. We talk about legal stuff, and we talk about our vices. Good whiskey, good cigars, good pipes. Music and movies occasionally, but mostly legal stuff and pop culture related stuff. I'm a maritime lawyer, primarily maritime and corporate lawyer. We do a lot of personal injury stuff for ship collisions, ship accidents, crew injuries, things like that. Ship financing, setting up corporations, all kinds of stuff. I've been in Korea for about 35 years, and what else do we need to know? Got 2 English bulldogs. This one over here that you're looking at is Strawberry. I have Yoda, who has just like effed off onto the sofa and is sleeping as we talk. And that's what we do. We look at things. We look at trials. We look at things, and we try not to teach anybody anything. If you accidentally learn something, well, I'm sorry for that. So that's kind of a quick introduction. And every Friday, not every Friday, sorry, one Friday a month, which will be next Friday. We do what we call an F it Friday, where we just say F it. We just kind of drop everything we're doing, and we just say F it. And we have a good panel of guests. We just talk about whatever's happening. Next Friday, the 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern time, will be the Merry Effing Christmas Friday, where we just have a Merry Effing Christmas. Let me see where we are on the list of guests so far. The list continues to grow. We used to have like so many huge guests on here that everybody was stumbling over each other and stuff. So we're trying to like go in shifts and turns as the months progress. But so far, our list is Law of Self-Defense, potentially criminal Sean. Okay, Law of Self-Defense is Andrew Branca, if you're not aware. LawTube Sean, potentially criminal Sean. Legal Mindset, Andrew Esquire. Remy, Legal Chandler Remington. Danny on Direct. Flux, our very own Flux. Talk with Sally. Nick Ricada. Hayden from Aussie Overlord. Nicholas Starov, our local Swedish trial watcher. And let's see, a potential Megan Fox. And who else do we have lined up here? One more I can't think of. Who's the one more? And somebody else that's just not coming to mind right now. But anyway, and the list is going to grow. We'll probably have five or six more people added to the list as time goes on. So stay tuned for that. That'll be next Friday at 7 p.m. And we'll be open up. We'll talk about Christmassy things. We'll talk about peeps. We'll just we'll have a good time. No worries. All right. Oh, Lady Law. That's the other one that'll be here. It'll be Lady Law. She'll be joining us again. Lady Law 579, and her Twitter is Lady Law 5791. I just haven't added it to Twitter yet. So that's a little bit about me. Sorry to take those of you who know who I am. Sorry to take your time while I just explained it, because we've gotten about 700 new subscribers in the past couple of weeks. So I guess many of you don't know me, but that's me. And I hope you'll take care. We have great guests. We have fun. We talk about the important things, but we do it in like a little bit of an irreverent manner. We try not to go too overboard with being disrespectful and shock jockey kind of stuff. But we try to inject a little levity in it, because the world is so serious. The world can be such a dim and grim place. We want to bring a little bit of humor to it, kind of shine a little bit of light on the absurdities, as well as talk about the important issues. I hope you'll stick around, Christina D. Thank you so much for that super chat. And we have Mathis Greaves with the €5. Someone already found where juror number 1 wrote Kowalski with a zagged S on a date mentioned in the new motion, page 5. And I also love the dog. Oh, we've got lots of jagged S's coming up. That's what the whole entire motion about is. No jagged S's. And Josh bringing the $5 heat. Any chance the defense is trying to catch some spicy sanctions to then argue the judge was biased on people? No, you see, that's the thing is, like, people are like, well, are they doing this so that they can, get a verdict against them? Are they doing this so they can get a dismissal? Are they doing this so that they can formulate grounds for an appeal? Are they doing this so that they can argue? But you never, ever, 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 ever want to do something to help you lose or get punished, ever. That would be sanctionable. You always have to do your best to fight for your client. You have to aggressively advocate for your client, not advocate against your client. And remember, the golden rule is appeals are for losers. You do not want to start out in the loser column. You want to start out in the winner column and stay there. So there's no reason, there's no logical, justifiable, or sensible reason why you would do something to potentially permanently damage your client, as well as potentially subject you to sanctions, and then to put you in the loser's seat in a very, very deep hole that is very, very difficult to dig out of. So yeah, I don't think there's really any practical chance of that. And Torin3 with a $5 super chat. I have a bit of extra length available for your braid.
Hey, phrasing!
Not enough for another repeat, but maybe a second maker's mark. Yes or no for the second mark? Yeah, go ahead. Give us your second maker. Not this maker's mark. Torin3, he does traditional Japanese braiding. He's done it for like 25 years. It's amazingly beautiful stuff. He's He's making it, and then at the end of everything, like in China, Japan, Korea, Asia, at the end of every like calligraphy or piece of art, or on the bottom of every piece of ceramic, you'll have the mark of the maker who did it. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, and you're not just putting like two Maker's Mark bottles on it. I'm assuming you're talking about your own Maker's Mark. Please go ahead, mark it up. Thank you so much for that. All right, folks. You guys are awesome. All right. I've beat around the bush as much as possible here. Oh yeah, his chop, so to speak. Yeah. If you look at any piece of like calligraphy, like I said, there'll be like usually a red, usually two red like stamps. Now that's what he's talking about. Or on the bottom of like ceramics or whatever, there'll always be like something to show you who made it. So yeah, thanks. Please go right ahead. Appeals are for losers, Branko. Well, appeals are for losers. Like everybody literally says that. No, not for the lawyers, for the clients. Nearly 600 likes. Really? How much are we doing here? We got 802 peeps and 7. Oh yeah, we easily got 600. Come on, get to that 600 like. We should be easily at 800 likes right now. But come on, people, put it out. And let's again. I if you can't tell, I'm really delaying getting into this, because this is ordinarily stuff we would wait until after the 2-hour mark, because usually YouTube doesn't care what you do. Well, it does. I mean, just like as far as like graphic content goes, but generally like cursey words and stuff, YouTube usually doesn't care after the 2-hour mark, but we're only an hour and a half into this. And I really can't delay this for, for another 25 minutes. But so we're just gonna have to dig into this. This is, as I was saying, for those of you that thought that bringing up something that he was alleged to have done 20 years ago, which was never followed up on, which never was pursued, there was no action taken in regard of, if he bringing that up to discredit him now, something he did, the juror number 1 did 20 years ago, somehow biased him against the hospital today. If you thought that was low, if you thought that was dirty pool, which I did, it was dirty, it was low, it was unprofessional, and it was reprehensible, and they should feel horrible about it. This motion that was filed yesterday is some shit. Here we go. I honestly don't have any way of delaying this anymore. Yeah, YouTube hates cursive words for at least for a couple hours. Yes, you can, Legal Vices. we're gonna give it a whirl, Jules. Even though you didn't see the give it a whirl stream, it's back there. It's a thing. All right. Here we go. All right, just close your eyes and jump out of the airplane and see what happens. Second supplement, because the first supplement was him bringing up this shit that happened 20 years ago, saying, oh, so now that means he's biased against the defense, so we should get a new trial because he did something 20 years ago that had nothing to do with anything. Well, this is their second supplement to defendant's motion for a new trial based on juror misconduct, motion for juror interview, motion to open discovery into evidence of juror misconduct, and emergency motion to preserve evidence. Defendant Johns Hopkins, All Children's Hospital, or Johns Dropkins All Prisoners Hospital, as Megan likes to call them. I'm trying to delay because I'm trying to keep monetization on my stream, but I'm giving up. Here we go. We're into it, Megan. Defendant Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital, Inc., by and through the undersigned counsel and pursuant to rules 1.431 and 1.530 Florida Rules of Civil Procedure, files this second supplement to its motion for a new trial based on juror misconduct, motion for a juror interview, motion to open discovery and into evidence of juror misconduct, and emergency motion to preserve evidence, DIN 3742, : 1, a copy of a note to the court sent by juror number 1 on or about October 12th, 2023. A copy of a note to the court, not to anybody else, not to anybody outside, not to anybody anywhere, but from juror number 1 to the court on or about October 12th, 2023, during the trial of the above styled cause, and shortly after excerpts of Dr. Sally Smith's deposition testimony were published to the jury as is attached as Exhibit A. So here in Exhibit A, we have something that was sent from juror number 1. It was a question, because the jury got to ask the question. This was a jury question from juror number 1 to the court on October 12th, 2023, shortly after Sally Smith's deposition testimony was shown. Let's go down here to the exhibit. Here's Exhibit A. It's this note right here. Y'all, will the jury be able to observe Sally Smith as a live witness or by Zoom during these proceedings? Okay, this wasn't the jury. The jury question, I think, was item C. It was Exhibit C. This was just a question. Will the jury be able to observe Sally Smith, highlighted, as a live witness or by Zoom during these proceedings? 2, are we able to be told, as there appears to be probable cause of improper actions by or of Sally Smith in her assigned role at J-Hatch, has or was she written up or coached? So was she ever written up or coached? I'm not sure if he's saying coached about her testimony or coached about performing her duties. I'm not sure about that, but was she ever written up or coached? Is Sally Smith, again highlighted, still performing duties at J-Hatch? So these are the questions we're being asked. Is she still having her duties? Was she ever written up or coached? And, are we able to see her Zoom conference? It all looks pretty normal, doesn't it? They've got her name highlighted here twice. Sally Smith was a deposition witness. So I think it was day 12 she was a witness. I'm not sure. They just showed her like her deposition and whatnot. But okay, we got to roll back up because this is the shit. Right. So they're saying that a copy of the note, which we just read to the court, sent by juror number 1 on or about October 12th, so it would have been around 11th or 12th when she testified, during the trial of the above styled cause, and shortly after excerpts of Dr. Sally Smith's deposition testimony were published to the jury, is attached as Exhibit A. Okay, fine. It happened again. Those of you that follow me regularly know that weirdly, every now and then, something. Can you hear that? You probably can't hear that, but I could hear it. Every now and then, something will set off the Bixby voice control on my tablet, which is in a separate room. It's from here into the kitchen in a backpack sitting on the kitchen table, and it just gave this "I'm sorry, I can't hear you" announcement thing. I have a ghost in my house. This is like the 3rd time that's happened in the last 2 weeks. There's like nobody here. It's almost 1 a.m. and this voice activated thing goes off on my tablet. Anyway, it just happened. Weird thing. All right. And those of you that, again, really are old school and regularly watch me know I have ghosts because we saw a door slam behind me one night. That was pretty cool. We heard a scream. Was that about 2 or 3 months ago? Yeah, shit happens here. Anyway, let's get back to this motion. Hey, Nicholas Starr of Trial Watch is in here. Nicholas will be joining us for our F Friday next week. There you go. He's apparently Germanizing to somebody else, even though he's Swedish. We need Korean toilet ghosts. All right, here we go. Point 2, an excerpt from the website. Okay, so again, we had this note that looked pretty normal, pretty calm, pretty normal, rational. There was nothing stood out to me until I read second paragraph. An excerpt from the website of the Simon Wiesenthal Center. That's that's the Simon Wiesenthal Center. That's a Jewish center dealing with Holocaust issues. Goodbye, monetization. Isn't it sad that we can't say Nazi properly, talk about the Holocaust and other things, because they think we're talking about bad things? So they've attached an excerpt from the website of the Simon Wiesenthal Center documenting the appearance of a uniform badge of the Nazi German. I wonder if this is a brand word. The Schutzstaffel or SS. So there's an excerpt from the Simon Wiesenthal Center documenting the appearance of a uniform badge of the Nazi German SS attached Exhibit B. Right, here we go. Lightning bolts. The SS lightning bolts is a symbol often used by neo-Nazis and white supremacists. The lightning bolts were part of the uniform of Nazi, oh, fuck it now. All right, we're done. Nazi SS soldiers. Often the SS lightning bolts are used to show support for hateful beliefs and ideologies. Extremists will sometimes use lightning bolt emojis, lightning bolt, to evade detection by modern systems on social media platforms. This tactic is commonplace in extremist codes. For example, users will replace 88 with two pool 8-ball emojis to reference H, the eighth letter of the alphabet. I know we can't say that phrase. So here we go. Oh, look at this S. Is the Nazi SS, or someone just mentioned out just a couple of seconds ago here in chat, the Kiss S's. Those are the same S's that were used in early Kiss albums. The Nazi eagle. Why this is here, I have zero idea, because there was no eagle anywhere on the goddamn thing. This symbol was adopted by the Nazis based on traditional German coats of arms that featured eagles. The Nazi version of this was a swastika, I know we can't say that word either, clutched below the eagle's talons, or other symbols such as the sun wheel and iron cross. So why do they have this? Why do they have this SS here? Why do they have the lightning bolt S's of the SS Nazis on here? Well, because of what they say up above here. Printing the first letter of Dr. Smith's first and last name in this manner makes it clear, juror number one's bias and prejudice against Dr. Smith, equating Dr. Smith with a notorious Nazi organization. So they're saying, look, the S's in Sally Smith, S's in Sally Smith, S's in Sally Smith are the same as the Nazi SS symbol. He did it. Now, as they're going to talk about, I mean, he did it. These S's don't look like the other S's that are in here. You know, this S does not look, the S in she doesn't look like the S in Sally Smith. Maybe, but again, here's the thing. Well, okay, we'll comment as we go along. I won't comment on it exactly now. We'll hear what the defense says first. So they're saying that by writing her name like that, they are equating her with a notorious Nazi organization. In addition, juror number one on October 10th, this one I don't really understand. Mexican Vader is both hilarious and infuriating. In addition, juror number one on October 10th, 2023, printed Exhibit C, in which he effectively, not that he obviously, clearly, manifestly, explicitly prejudged the relationship between defendant and Dr. Smith, equating one with the other. So he printed this Exhibit C, and they're arguing that it's improper because he's already prejudged the relationship between defendant and Dr. Smith, equating one with the other. Saying, you know, he's already made up his mind that J. Hatch is Smith and Dr. Smith is J. Hatch. They're saying that's improper. So let's, again, go to, well, okay, we'll read this, then we'll go back down there and see that. So juror number one's reference to Dr. Sally Smith with the use of the Nazi symbolism demonstrates a clear bias, prejudice, and prejudgment against her, and thus defendant in the above styled cause, and demonstrates an additional basis upon which defendant's motion for a new trial based on juror misconduct, motion for a jury interview, motion to open discovery into evidence of juror misconduct, and emergency motion to preserve evidence, as well as a new trial generally, should be granted. So by using the jagged lightning bolt looking SS in a note to the judge about Sally Smith, that shows that they were the magic words they used, the magic legal words they used were biased, prejudiced, and prejudged against her. Let's see Exhibit 3, where they allegedly equated Sally Smith with J. Hatch and J. Hatch with Sally Smith. You received a formal request from Dr. S. Smith of J. Hatch. So this is the word they're objecting to. And again, they're showing that, see how the S's are different here? They're not the jagged lightning bolt looking S's. You received a formal request from Dr. S. Smith of J. Hatch for your records about Maya, correct? So this is what they're objecting to. They said Dr. Smith of J. Hatch. Like, oh, he's already decided that, because that was one of the issues. Was she an employee, or was she acting as an agent or representative of J. Hatch during all of this? He's already decided that she was part of J. Hatch. He's already decided that they have a relationship, that everything that she does should be imputed to the hospital, and everything the hospital does is done through her. He's already made up his mind. That's what they're arguing. And you stated that you made a call to S. Smith. Did you send the copies to Smith? Literally, this whole request from Dr. Smith of J. Hatch, S. Smith of J. Hatch. That's what they seem to be having a problem with. That's what they seem to be having a problem with. So let's go back, and I want to make a couple of points here. As we go back, scrolling, keep those wagons scrolling, rawhide. Right. He printed the letter S, in a jagged lightning bolt fashion, blah, 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 near the SS exhibit. Now, printing the first letter of Dr. Smith's first and last name in this case makes it clear that juror number one's bias and prejudice against Dr. Smith, and equating her with a notorious Nazi organization. Now, here's where I'm going to kind of step out on a little bit of a legal limb here and say, look, bias and prejudice do not, because say bias, we'll leave prejudice out of it for the minute. Bias alone does not disqualify anyone from being a juror. It does not show misconduct. Because the idea, and that's what they routinely asked in voir dire during jury selection. If someone says, "Do you have a bias against this?" or have you ever been in this? The judges will routinely ask the question: does that bias, or does that prejudice, or whatever, does that prohibit you from fairly and justly weighing the evidence and reaching a decision based on the evidence presented and the law applied? Some form thereof. So basically saying, even if you have this bias, can you put that bias aside and weigh the evidence as it comes in? Now, here, the important thing to note is that okay, hang on here. Let me click this and bring this up. There we are. Daily Quick Bites pointed out, you will notice he didn't use the SS style at first. It only occurred to him later, writing notes after or during her testimony, which is post, not pre. Yeah, what you're supposed to do is weigh a witness's credibility. You're supposed to listen to them, listen to their arguments, weigh their credibility, and decide whether you found them credible or not, and then weigh that against all of the other evidence during deliberations. After he heard her talk, maybe perhaps he had an opinion. But I don't think she's credible, and this is assuming that what he's done, what the defense lawyers have alleged is actually true. That these are SS things, and he's showing his disdain for her, his prejudice for her, whatever. He heard her testimony. He heard the testimony. He heard the deposition, and then he used that once in a letter. Okay. Was he wrong? He was equating her tactics, her behavior with the SS. Just because he did that doesn't show he made up his mind against J. Hatch. It just meant he hated that particular witness and didn't find her particularly credible and found her to be evil and engaging in Nazi-like behavior. it's another so what, where you go, okay, so what? He did that. He didn't do it before. He didn't, there's nothing to indicate that he made up his mind about the case based on her. It just is, he hated this particular witness, but we had everybody that watched the goddamn thing hated this witness. Everybody hated Sally Smith. Everybody. I kind of wish I would have thought about using the lightning bolts. And I'm not saying he did. I have no idea. But he's not. You can hate a witness after they testify. You've heard them out. They've given their testimony. You can say, okay, I didn't find that particular person credible at all. And then weigh that against all the other evidence that's presented and come to a verdict that you think is fair and just. There's nothing to show that he made up his mind or he was entirely prejudiced against the entire J-Hatch movement just because he used that. I think that's a bullshit answer. I think it's a bullshit assertion. And this whole evidence exhibit C thing is like, that was one of the issues again, whether Sally Smith is part of J-Hatch or whether, and so what Sally Smith does can be imputed to J-Hatch, or what J-Hatch does through her means that J-Hatch is doing it. All he asked was what? He made that statement, Sally Smith of J-Hatch. They really, really, really made this really, really vague throughout the whole thing. She testified, it was testified from Maya's side that Sally Smith, their first introduction, she came in wearing a lab coat, like a J-Hatch lab coat with, with her name on it and whatnot. And she didn't say she was not with them. She denies ever wearing a lab coat in like 20 years. She said she was doing it in her street clothes. But I don't, juror number 12 had no reason to know a lot of the juror number 12. Juror number 1 didn't have a reason to know a lot of this because, it's all stuff that wasn't mentioned in trial, but apparently Sally Smith worked for J-Hatch for 12 years before Johns Hopkins bought it out. But she still had privileges at the hospital. She still had a name badge. She still had, the J-Hatch, what's it, ID or access cards or whatnot. And she introduced herself to Maya as Dr. Sally Smith, a pediatrician with the child protection team. She didn't say the child protection team at Suncoast that's not affiliated with the hospital. She just said the child protection team. If you're in a J-Hatch hospital being treated by J-Hatch doctors, someone comes in, regardless of whether they're wearing a lab coat or not, but someone comes in with an identification from the hospital or an access badge from the hospital and says, "Hi, I'm Sally Smith, a pediatrician with the child protection team." You're naturally going to think the child protection team with the fucking hospital you're in right now, not someone who's subcontracted out by another company or whatever their legal relationship was. So when he says, Sally Smith of J-Hatch, it only makes sense because she didn't specifically say she wasn't with J-Hatch. It seems like she was intentionally trying to imply heavily that she was with the hospital while not admitting to them that she wasn't. I have huge problems with it. And she's still actually on the Johns Hopkins website. So, there's some gray line bullshit going on there that I don't like. I honest to God do not like that. She should have introduced herself at the beginning by saying, "Hi, I'm Dr. Sally Smith. I'm not here. I work for the child protection unit at a different hospital." Or for like a different organization, not just come and go, "Hi, I work for the child protection team," because anybody with any bit of reasonableness in their body would think that she was saying she was with the child protection team of the hospital where everybody's located. Why would you think that someone with hospital ID coming and talking to you in the hospital, introducing themselves as a doctor inside the hospital you're fucking in, would think that you were actually a representative of some external organization? And if the parties didn't know that, and it appears the jury didn't know that, that's on the defense for putting on this shady bitch on there who didn't clearly specify that in their testimony, and the lawyers also didn't clarify that no, she does not work. They tried to, but apparently the jury didn't buy it. The jury found that she did represent. She was part of the J-Hatch engine. She was part of the mechanism. And they believed the prosecution in this because they did not specifically denounce that or disclaim it or provide evidence against it, either during trial or when it should have happened right at the very, very beginning, the very, very first time that Sally Smith ever met Maya. Lion by the Sea says, I can't believe they filed this retarded motion in penmanship, but if he was, it's still protected speech. Yeah, he can do. If he would have said, I think she's a horrific, Nazi, and she's being mean to these people, and so therefore I'm completely prejudiced against the defense, and I think that they should lose this case, but have they turned over these documents? That would be a different argument. He can have all of the bias he wants, as long as he doesn't let that cloud his verdict after weighing all of the evidence. So yeah, there we go. Well, Lion by the Sea, my handwriting is always different, especially if writing fast. It does. I will be honest. It does seem to be a bit deliberate because the other S's, like when you say writing the word she and things like that, the other S's are not written that way. So my instinct, my gut, just totally personally me says that did I miss the P word? Did I say prosecution instead of plaintiff or whatever? I do that occasionally. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Thomas, but if I use the wrong P word, you know what I meant. I'm not sure what I did there because I get that all the time. People will leave the comments. You said this when you should have said this. You don't know anything. You're not a real lawyer. But they don't realize that we're 2 hours and 2 minutes into an absolute non-scripted live stream where you're reading the chat, you're reading the document, you're thinking of what to say, you're talking at the same time. And hey, if I go through a 2-3 hour stream and I only make one misstep like that, well, that's a goddamn good day in my book. I know what I'm supposed to say. I know what the real things are, but the tongue just kind of betrays you occasionally. You make the mistakes. But what did I do? I'm not sure what I said. Anyway, whatever I said wrong, I meant the right thing. Yeah, that's my cop out. Whatever I said wrong, I meant to say the right one. Right. Yeah, maritime laws for losers. But see, that's ironic. I get that a lot too. You're just a maritime lawyer. What gives you a right to comment on personal injury things? Well, because that's a big part of maritime law. Crew injuries, crew illnesses, things like that. We do shit like this all the time. So yeah, it kind of actually makes me a little more qualified than a lot of other people do, but that's what I'm just saying. Anywho, this is shady BS. To bring up the Nazi thing, I mean, that's just dumb. He can be biased all he wants as long as he doesn't let it cloud his verdict, as long as he just doesn't write off the whole thing. Say, okay, she was a bad witness, so therefore I hate her, and because I hate her, I'm gonna fuck Johns Hopkins over and make them pay because of this silly bitch. No, that's a problem. But if he makes little snide remarks like that to say, yeah, I didn't find her believable and I hated everything she said, I have no problem with it. I might be completely wrong, but I don't think I am. Kyle Cowden said, hey, how you doing there? Kyle, it's been a minute. In the first response world, most write in large and small caps, more legible. We all have ways of denoting capital letters. Well, that's a thing too. I didn't see any other. Let's see. Let's look at this and see if there are any other capital S letters in. I don't think there are. There's a zoom. Probable cause, action, Sally Smith, sign, she. No, there are no other capital S's involved there, but I mean, it does look a little shady, and I think so. It's somewhere between, yeah, you may have a point, but so what? And yeah, it looks a little shady. We're kind of somewhere in the middle, and I don't know where it falls. We're gonna have to hear what if anything the judge has to say about it. Oh wait, there was something that said, "Can I look at something on the docket?" Where'd that go? Right. Matthias Gree says, "Can you look at DIN 3654?" on the docket. I'll have to bring that up because I have to actually disconnect everything and put up a VPN to access the Florida court size. Let me write this so I can look at it later, and maybe we can talk about it next time. Let's see. Have some notes. Got my notes going. DIN 3654. 3654. Cool. All right. I'll give it a peek. But again, I see, and overriding all of this is what I think they're trying to, and this is purely, as Steph the Ultra Nerd would, to paraphrase Steph the Ultra Nerd, my own thoughts, opinions, conspiracy theories, whatever. I think this was written in a way to insinuate that clearly he was, if we totally accept everything that the hospital is asserting here, he was at worst, he was insinuating that Sally Smith was a Nazi. At worst, that's what he was insinuating by using allegedly lightning bolt S's for her name. But I think it's written and presented in a way that implies or tries to lead you to conclude that he is the white supremacist Nazi guy. That's using these symbols to show his white supremacy Nazi behavior. I think the way that's worded, the evidence is presented, to me personally, not saying it is or isn't, but just my own personal opinion, is it was presented in a way to make it seem like he was the white supremacist, Nazi guy that was just against her, rather than him maybe perhaps jokingly suggesting that she might be the Nazi. With that's just it's a gut feeling I have. I have no other justification or explanation for it other than that's just how I see it. But we've got a bunch of super chats here that are lined up that we need to get to. Kevin Collins with the get the whacking stick out. Thank you so much for that $2 super chat. And we have Jennifer Okotoke. Thank you so much, Jennifer Okotoke, with the $7. That's an oddly specific number. Canadian $6.99. Thank you so much for the oddly specific $6.99. I'm not a historian by any means, but in World War II, didn't the Germans overtake Poland? Why would juror number 1 support a Polish family? Well, juror number 1 was from a Polish family. So I mean, yeah, Kowalski is about as Polish as you can get as far as Polish names go. Yeah. So he's saying maybe that's something that the defense would argue. Oh, they're Polish and he's using the Nazi symbols of the SS to attribute it to her. So he must really hate her because they're Polish. I don't know if they're clearly not Jews, but they're clearly Catholics. First of all, because they had the rosary and they were taking communion, and J Hatch threw the Eucharist, threw the body of Christ into a dumpster. So clearly they weren't Polish. They weren't Polish Jews. They were Polish Catholics, but still, the whole family was Catholic. It's some shenanigans, Jennifer. That's what it boiled. It's just lawyerly defense shenanigans. Thank you so much for your super chat, by the way. Deeply, deeply appreciate it. Oh, we got out the whacking stick already. Let's go, Brandon, in the house. I can't send my chat. I hate YouTube. Can you redirect to the Broken Baker again? Merry South Korean Christmas. All right, we'll see what's going on when we finish. We'll see who's doing what at the end of the day. Merry South Korean Christmas. Thank you. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. A huge supporter of the channel, particularly on the F at Fridays, along with Tank Rat. F at Friday, which is coming up a week from today on F at Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Next week, don't miss that. Join that where you can see a whole panel of people. I grift for drinks and we just drink a lot. We get drunk and we have fun. Thank you so much. Oh, and speaking of Tank Rat, wow. Here we go. Oh, we got the Brandon Lesko and Tank Rat with the 25 IUDs. Lol. So the band Kiss are white supremacist group, right? Well, that was the old thing back in the day. Remember, it's like, ooh, they've got, and they did it on purpose for marketing. They did. But it's like, ooh, Knights in Satan's service. That's what Kiss stands for. And ooh, they've got the SS thing. Thank you so much, Tank Rat, for that. Deeply, deeply appreciated. The DCV train, thank you. Everybody adopted eagle iconography in some way, typically on battle standards for militaries. There's even a game called March of the Eagles. Yeah, well, yeah, the Nazis, they took it to a well, and the Romans they took eagle usage to new heights, so to speak. They soared like eagles in the realm of eagle iconography. Bass, we got 3 more super chats here. Bass, we're never going back to the moon if we're spending all of our time focused on this crap, right? We need to get exactly. Humanity is in a downward spiral. Kevin Collins, Smith worked for DCF. She was not a defendant. J Hatch was. Mr. Hunter was working with DCF and court to move Maya. Isn't that problematic? Well, the fact I think they were excluding the family, I think that fact is a little bit weirdly problematic, but he was Hunter is the lawyer for the hospital. The hospital is going to do things, and they're going to run it through legal before they do it. So it's not he's working with DCF and the hospital. You can work for 2 people that aren't opposed to each other. Now, if he worked for the hospital and Smith, and the hospital sued Smith for whatever she did in relation to this, then there would be a conflict of interest. But he can work as long as they're not fighting each other. He can work for Smith and her company, and Suncoast and DCF and the hospital. He can work for all of those if they acknowledge there's a potential conflict, but they waive it and agree to work together. Things like that. But yeah, it's. Just the fact this is all so shadowy and there was no clear delineations made. That's what I have a problem with all of this. And Kevin Collins again with a super chat, $5. That's why lawyers want witnesses to be likable. They know they can even be you have to overcome potential biases with being nice, normal, reasonable, sweet, logical, reasonable, calm, cool, and collected as a witness. Don't make people hate you more than they already do. That's kind of a good general rule. And Jennifer Okotok says, then skip my super chat. Sorry, I already read it. Gotta have a little bit of patience. We got to it. We got you, Jennifer. Don't worry. I read all the super chats. I never skip super chats. If I do, then I feel really horrible. I think I've probably skipped like 3 or 4 super chats in my entire time on YouTube. We get there eventually. Sorry if you had to wait a little extra. We still love you, Jennifer. You're still an integral part of the Vice Squad. Thank you so much. Well, we're at the end here. We just got that shitty memo. I mean, that was now they're saying he is equating her to an SS Nazi. Oh no, I meant because it was confusion. It was not confusion. It was perfectly fine. Jennifer, nothing you do is confusing. Unless you're sending confusion-based texts about things that weren't confusing. That's confusing. Are you confused? Me too. Anyway, never mind. We're all good, Jen. If I may call you Jen. Yes. I just, as I said, as a professional working in the same field, as a lawyer, as an officer of the courts, I hate it when you see this level of, I don't want to say desperation, but that's the only word I got. This level of desperation, where you just sort of go, screw civilities, screw decorum, screw professional ethics and responsibilities, and just defame someone like they did in the first supplement about shit that happened. Shit that they say that someone filed a report about 20 years ago that was never followed up on and no action was taken, using that as a basis to try to discredit him. And then now coming with this, he's calling her an SS trooper. So he was clearly biased against her, but yet wording it in a way that the attention is drawn to him as the one writing this, sort of, I think, intentionally implying that he is the Nazi in the picture. And then again, more importantly, aside from all that bullshit, that what I think is unprofessional, unjustifiable, just demeaning for the profession motion. At the end of the day, so what? What does it change? How does that prove anything? How does that prove any juror misconduct? That was essentially a note that only he and the judge and maybe the lawyers saw. How does that show improper conduct? I don't think it does. Now, when you put the first motion, the supplementary motion, and now this even what I consider to be an even greater desperate Hail Mary attempt to try to score a goal and get a new trial, I think they're making it worse. I think it makes it even easier for the judge to go, you're out of your goddamn mind. Give him the double barrel denied. You got to get the double finger denied. I think it gives him even more leeway and more reason to do that. It's there. The defense is almost coming off as unhinged at this point, and it's I want to get all ranty and righteous indignation and stuff, but it's just the meter needle has swung. We're just like all the way in the red as far as the disgust in all of this goes. I'm already just so far in the disgust part of things that, sardonism. Thank you. That may be the word I was looking for. It's just gross. It's just gross. Yeah, we'll leave this gross thing where it is. And on the 15th, we should have our motion hearing. They'll talk about this, and they've got like 5 or 6 things they're going to talk about on the 15th, and they're not going to make any. The judge isn't going to make any rulings on any of this on the 15th. He'll hear the arguments, and the arguments are limited for depending on the subject. 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. He'll can take it under consideration, and then at some point in the future, he'll release his decision regarding each of the things they've discussed. This is one of them, the motion for a new trial based on juror misconduct, and I believe they're going to get 20 minutes each. It's either 20 minutes each or 30 minutes each to make their argument on this point. We don't know yet if there's going to be cameras in the courtroom. But if there's not, there are Zoom, it will be zoomed in, and I think Megan plans on covering it. So I might hang out with Megan if she sends me an invite. I don't know. It'll be fun to stream live, but it's Megan's deal. Megan's been covering her from day one, so I'll hang out with her if she invites me as much as I can. But then 7 p.m. we're starting the 7 p.m. Eastern. We're starting the F at Friday stream. All right, let me read these last few super chats, and then we'll let you go. Again, I'm all ranted out. I'm just. The first 2 were kind of funny. The motion to compel them to submit evidence and their reasons for not doing it. That was just it was funny and standard. I expected to be animated and shouty. I'm just demoralized now. It's just why are you doing this, guys? Have a little bit of professional decorum. Take the L. Ask the judge just to reduce a little bit. Pay whatever ungodly sum you have to, and work on being better. And work on improving your image. This is the same thing I said with like Amber Heard. You lost, off you fuck, and just go away for like 5 years. Go away somewhere where no camera knows where you are. Nobody's taking your picture. You're not doing anything. Just go away for like 5 years so everybody forgets about you, and then slowly work your way back into the public eye and work on rehabilitating yourself. That's just all I want to say for you. Just go be a good children's hospital. Work on rebuilding. Take all of this money, these literally millions of dollars you're throwing at your defense lawyers, and put them back into staff training, into establishing guidelines, into establishing procedures. Put it into bettering your hospital. Just do that. Wouldn't that be money much better spent than writing motions like this bullshit? Matt Bond said, wonder if the defense realized Amber Heard originally got originally got the symbol from a banner. I said Amber Heard. That's funny. The other The failed painter from Austria. Wonder if the defense realized AH originally got the symbol from a banner hanging in a church when he sang in the choir so he could stay for the sermon. Huh. Something I didn't know either. Thank you so much for that. Interesting. Tancred breaking the 25 IUDs. With my experience with child protection services, they are nosers. Their goal is to divide the family, not fix the issues in the family. My humble opinion. Many cases, unfortunately, far too many cases. I believe you're correct. My mother did foster care for, 25 years. We just literally, I don't remember. Well, I vaguely remember a time when we didn't have foster children in the house, and that was like when I was 4. I think the first foster child came into the house when I was 4, and it went all the way through adulthood. So yeah, I've seen a lot of it. And Kevin Collins wrapping us up for the night. I still think they're trying to get number 1 to say or do something they can do. That's what they're saying. They're saying, like, we want to bring in juror number 1. Based on all this bullshit we've submitted, we want to bring juror number 1 in and interrogate juror number 1. So they want to get juror number 1 and possibly juror number 1's wife into a room where they can interrogate them and question them and try to trip them up, try to get them to admit or misstate something to where they can use that. It's a fishing expedition. They want to go on a fishing expedition to see if they can catch them in something. See if they can catch them doing something wrong, and then later twist that and put that in their motion for a new trial again, based on the new evidence they found during the interrogation of juror number 1 and or his wife. That it's clearly to me a fishing expedition where they want to drag someone in off the street, force them to answer questions, and try to get information. You know the information or you don't. Knowing that information should be the basis for your motion. Knowing what he's done, having evidence, at least a smidge of evidence to say, hey, we have this tiny bit of evidence that he's done this wrongdoing. So we need to investigate it further to see how big this piece is, to see if it's a big enough piece of evidence that would warrant a new trial. But here they're saying, we think there's a suspicion that he might have done this. His wife did all this, even though his wife wasn't a sworn juror, his wife did this, and this. Although she was under no oath or responsibility not to do it, she did all of this, and they lived together. So therefore, we think there's might be a slim possibility of the hint of a suggestion that she might have talked to her husband about it and vice versa. That's some bullshit. No, you can't do that. That's exactly what they're trying to do, though. She did all of these things. They lived together. Scandal. Jurors living with his wife. They lived together, so clearly they had to have talked about it. We want to bring him in and talk about it. So, yeah. It's a scummy, unprofessional, undignified, gross fishing expedition. And I think on that cheerful, happy note, that's where we're going to wrap things up here. Let's see about redirecting us somewhere. Redirecting us somewheres. Redirect to Well, Let's Go Brandon suggested that I send everyone off to the Broken Baker. But apparently Broken Baker is not streaming right now. Oh, yes, he is. Huh. Well, we've got 2 things. I didn't see that here. We've got Broken Baker streaming Georgia v. Hannah Payne. He's a new guy, very small channel. He's from Denmark, I believe. So he's from somewhere around Scandinavia way. Is Mo in the Deep End streaming? I think she might be on with Nick or somebody. I don't know. Or maybe she's with. I have no idea. I don't see her cropping up as streaming anywhere on my ad list. But we'll send you all over to the Broken Baker and see what you think about the Broken Baker. Yes, he's from Denmark. New channel, decent guy. We'll see him. Very, very small channel. Let's all pop over there, and if you like what you see, give him a like. We're doing this for Let's Go Brandon, who super chat and requested it, so we'll do it. Normally she's around now. She's on with Nicholas. Well, we'll have to send them over there next time they're streaming. Is Let's Go Brandon, Let's Go Collective requested that we send them over to Broken Baker, so we'll do that. All right, we are locked and loaded for the Broken Baker. And And right, it's a new trial, Georgia v. Hannah Payne. All right, folks, we'll see you all on over there. Let him know that Legal Vices sent him. Thank you, everybody. Join me next month. Oh, tomorrow. Well, I guess later. It'll be tomorrow for me. Later in the day for all of you, or most of you. 9 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. I will be on with Megan Fox, where we're going to read We're going to do a dramatic reading of some J Hatch related or Maya Kowalski related hearings. So join us on Megan Fox for that at 9 p.m. Eastern. And Monday, we'll be doing a Maritime Monday stream. We'll do some stuff during the rest of the week next week. I'm not sure what we'll do yet. And then next Friday is F-It Friday. We're going to have a great panel of guests on with a large number of really awesome people. Join us for that, 7 p.m. Eastern next Friday. And until then, tell Broken Baker hi. I'm Legal Vices. I'm Jeff. I'm going to send you off. But until we meet again on Megan Fox's channel about 10 hours from now, or how many hours did I lose track? However many hours from now it is, enjoy your legal vices. Me, the Law Racks, saying peace out. Oh, I almost did the old one. This is our new intro and outro until Christmas. Legal Vices saying make sure whatever you do, whoever you do it with, enjoy your legal vices. Oh, hey, I hit the wrong button. Bye.